This race review is presented by the American Monoposto Championship, inspired by the 1998 kart season. Check out the most entertaining open-wheel sim racing series to date on YouTube and Discord.
Yes, that's right. It's another race review, which means our sponsors that you've just seen there, the American Monoposto Championship, are bringing you Indy Fanatics because, you know, what is better than combining Indy Fanatics with a fanatical fan Indy virtual racing league? I don't know what's better.
I can't think of anything that is better.
Absolutely. And as IndyCar was for its third race of the season this weekend at Long Beach that obviously we just had, the American Monoposto Championship started their season on Saturday the 9th. Yes, I'm getting my dates right. They were Saturday the 9th. Go from there. So their championship has started too. Make sure you go and follow those guys. We will leave links in the description down below. And yeah, keep up with that fantastic league. And thank you to them for sponsoring us again. We do appreciate the partnership that we have with the league. But I believe there is only one way to get started into this race review. Stephen's here!
Yay! Wait. I've always been part of the channel.
No, but
Have you not noticed me?
No, for the first two race reviews, you haven't been here.
Oh, okay.
It's not been a thing.
You're right. Okay, you can carry on now. I'll just stand over here. Now we're all familiar.
Welcome to the race review. We've been that ginger guy. He's gone. Pato,
Pato! He came top 5! He was there!
Stephen's here because Pato managed to get a top 5 performance. Look at this. Shallow fan. When Pato was down in the dumps and he was struggling, this guy, he shied away from the camera. You know what happens as soon as Pato has the best race of his season so far?
Pato!
This guy's on camera. But other than the one word of Stephen being here, which we're great to see Stephen here for the race review, we have to say, Josef Newgarden is the new championship leader.
Damn.
He was bullish in the pre-season. He came on the last corner to beat his teammate Scott McLaughlin in Texas, but this one was even more impressive, wasn't it?
It was indeed.
He had, after the first round of pit stops, Palou and Newgarden had managed to get ahead of Colton Herder. Herder? He herds cows and sheep now, does Colton Herder. Herter, they'd gone ahead of him, and then it came to Colton Herter.
All I hear is Herder now. You've stumped it. All we hear
Colton Herder. Colton Herder decided to crash into the wall, and his day was over. Second round of pit stops. Josef Newgarden's superb defending against Alex Palou was enough to win him the race and take the championship lead. This guy looks like he means business this year. Already a 2-time series champion. But will he get the double this year, Indy 500 and championship? Well, you can say out of one of those in the championship, he's looking in fantastic shape.
Yep. Obviously, though, 3 races in. It's like the caveat to every comment in this first half of the season. It's like,
we can't take too much from it.
But he's won 2 out of 3. Pretty dominant. And Chevy, as a whole, are looking a lot better this year, that they can actually deliver a Chevy-powered champion.
Well, they were talking about the drivability, wasn't it? And what was the main key of defending against Alex Palou, and then from Romain Grosjean late on in the race when Grosjean had his charge, it was the drivability of that Chevy engine, especially out of the corners, that allowed him to get much better traction out of it and therefore maintain enough of an advantage that the chasers in Palou and Grosjean in the Honda-powered cars weren't able to deal with on the day.
Yes.
So what we're going to do is it's a kind of new feature that I introduced while Stephen was gone. We're going to do a quick run through of the grid. Then me and Stephen will, this is almost like a pause. That was our initial thoughts on the race.
Yeah.
Then we'll go over a more detailed one, and then we might also do some fantasy depending on how long I've waffled for and whether Stephen can manage to control me with less waffle. It's a struggle. But as we've already mentioned, Josef Newgarden was the winner in Long Beach, followed by Roman Grosjean securing his first podium for Andretti Autosport, coming in P2. Alex Palou came in P3, rounding off the podium. Another fantastic drive from the Spaniard. At one stage, it did look like my comments in that kind of chat with Dylan and Stephen, I would go, it's a classic race that Palou would win. At one stage, I thought he was going to cruise it, but no, Newgarden said different. Will Power, for the second consecutive race, comes in P4 and continues his strong start to the championship. Pato, as Stephen was affectionately glory hunting for his best performance of the season so far, comes in at P5. Scotty Dixon, a great recovery considering it was a poor day in qualifying, coming P16, making up 10 races in the race. Emma Dixon again on Twitter, questioning whether the stewards were biased towards Penske in not bringing out the yellow when Colton Herta's debris was all over the track, and Scott Dixon had pitted and the Penskes had not. Conspiracy theories! Graham Rahal comes in P7, Alexander Rossi P8, Elio Castro Neves P9, and Carl Kirkwood's highest placed rookie, and rounding off the top 10, another fantastic performance from the young American superstar driver. It is Felix Rosenqvist had another good qualifying, much better than his teammate Pato Ward, but Pato had the better race. Felix, unfortunately, his tyres dropped off, didn't they, in the first stint, and when Alexander Rossi had an ambitious move, which was fair racing, but wheel-to-wheel contact, it really kind of stitched Felix Rosenqvist's race up as he lost, I think, 3 places in that move, and then he continued to go backwards until he decided in 11th.
That was not Rossi. He just stuffed his tyres. Caveat, he didn't look after his tyres.
There we go. Stephen's input. You can tell which one he favours in McLaren. Connor Daly, P12, his best result of the season and coming ahead of Rinus VeeKay. That will certainly be good for Connor Daly's confidence, having below par performances in the first 2 opening rounds. Scott McLaughlin, P14, started in the top 10, the previous championship leader's worst result to date. Jack Harvey, 15th, Tatiana Caldron, 16th, Takuma Sato, 17th, Christian Lundgaard, 18th, Simon Pagenaud, 19th. He's in the garden! It's part of the garden! Jimmy Johnson, 20, Malukas, 21, Ericsson, 22, Colton Hurt, 23, Callum Wyatt, 24, Devlin Di Francesco, 25, and Dalton Kellett, 26. But of course, from, I believe, Lundgaard downwards, they were... No, Sato retired at the end as well. Yeah. From Sato downwards, they were all retirements. Bang, 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 bang. That's the running order. So I guess, any other final... I know we kind of did general thoughts, but what were your general thoughts of Long Beach? Obviously, it was the season finale last season, 3rd race of the season this year. What did you think of the race?
It took time. It took time to...
Like a fine wine.
Yeah. Like, it was great just watching cars go around Long Beach because it was a fantastic circuit in a fantastic location. But it was when Palou performed the undercut. I was like, whoa, Palou's suddenly at the top here. It's not just going to be Herta flying away. Then, of course, you had Herta crashing out, but then you had Newgarden overcutting Palou. And then Grosjean came out of nowhere with the only guy on red tyres, and it all just exploded at the end. It was fantastic. Wow.
Wow.
That's my general thoughts.
Wow.
There's a couple of drivers in there you can look at there.
Well, we'll go into winners and losers, which I think is what I started doing, which I think is quite a good way to kind of review into that. But yeah, my general thoughts of, it took a while to get going, but once it got going, it turned into a kind of a mishmash carnage with some of the greatest commentary lines of the season so far.
He's in the garden!
Simon Pagenaud deciding that spinning around the wrong way wasn't enough, that he would actually just drive and become a part of the garden, part of the fountain. And Tom Gaymore on commentary over here was saying in the kind of advertising break that you guys have in the States, he wrote off a comment on Twitter when someone asked, has anyone ever gone into the fountain before? And laughed, that was so absurd. In steps Simon Pagenaud. But yeah, another one where Herta from a strong position threw it away a lot. We were thinking in the first couple of races that Colton Herta, it was a real championship drive, but is it same old for Andretti? Maybe for Colton Herta, but his best result for the season and with the team, his new team, Roman Grosjean, and he drove fantastic, really nailed that strategy, just couldn't find a way past Newgarden, who managed to get his first ever win at Long Beach, which is worthy to know, and the first time in 5 years, I believe, that he has gone back-to-back wins, which is an important one.
Of course, he nearly did it last year, but he had just a terrible run of luck, wasn't it?
He did.
It's Road America, wasn't it?
But I guess that probably weans us in nicely, as that's the general thoughts, of going into winners and losers. I suppose the big winner of the weekend was Josef Newgarden.
Yes, of course. Taking championship lead. Again, his second win, back-to-back win. He's the man to beat at the moment. Especially on a circuit, you probably nailed a Honda car, mainly looking at Andretti, because they had such a good package this weekend. They looked so good in qualifying. But yeah, just to steal it off them, take control of the championship of his teammate. Yeah, big winner.
Yeah, and I think, that was a big factor, like I said, capitalising on Andretti and Honda's pretty much strong dominance, because I think, the majority of the top 10 were Honda, from memory. I don't have the qualifying. Let me see. I'll get it up quickly, just so I'm not talking out of my bum. Yeah, you can stall while I'm looking this up.
Oh, bloody hell.
Bloody hell, mate.
Bloody hell, mate. How am I to stall? How long are you going to take? Flicking through your phone?
A long time. A very long time.
I mean, yeah. Are you there? Okay.
So 1, 2, 3, 4. It was fairly even split, but it was dominated by Honda, so that was absolutely one. So 6 Honda to 4 Chevy. A complete huge swing in favour of Honda this weekend. But yeah, obviously qualifying from back then, Will Power and Penske, managed to move up. And I'll be honest with you, if Scott McLaughlin didn't make his mistake, and he probably transfers nicely on the first loser of the weekend, he probably would have been right up there as well.
Well, go on then. First loser.
Oh, I didn't know if you wanted to talk about Josef Newgarden a little bit more. There's not really much to say.
I mean,
he
we
just
called him
nailed
a
the
beast.
weekend.
I could say his driving skills were really good defending against Palou, but we know he's a top quality driver.
That lap was the best action of the race, where Palou literally came out right on the gearbox of Newgarden, and Palou was going all in. He was not going, I'm calculated risks. He went all in to try and overtake there. And Newgarden's defending was incredible to watch and had you on the edge of your seat stuff. But yes, moving on to Scott McLaughlin, the championship leader going into this weekend. Previous worst result going into this weekend, or lowest finishing spot, was second, which he achieved in Texas. He's gone first and second in the first 2 races. Qualifying, he had got blocked. I missed qualifying, but you may be able to elaborate a little bit more on his qualifying woes, shall I say, 9th? He just wasn't able to...
There's not really much to talk about. I felt like Ericsson treated him roughly on the final runs, but
There we go. And that led him to not getting past part of the Fast Six, which then left him down in 9th. Was running well, had to say, was running a strong race, and then out of the hairpin, he clipped the inside wall with his rear right tyre, spun himself around, and that pretty much affected his race. That 14th was as good as he was going to get. It was damage limitation in the end. But a loser from obviously going into the weekend as championship leader and coming out of it as not a championship leader.
Well, yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Who would be a next winner for you?
A next winner. It's tough. It's tough to think who's a winner. Roman Grosjean. Actually, that is an easy one. To come home in second, okay, maybe you go on those sticker reds, maybe you had a shot at the victory. But the fact they actually held on to P2, because there was a fair stint at the end there, and we saw in the first stint how quickly those reds were dropping off with the likes of Felix and Rossi, where when they were attacking, they dropped really quick. And Grosjean was attacking full on because he took Palou and he was pushing Newgarden around at some points for a couple of laps. So yeah, Roman Grosjean getting his first podium with Andretti. I'm sure he would have wanted it to be called his first win with Andretti, but first podium nonetheless. I think he is a winner of the weekend.
Also considering that he started, I think back in 7th, was it? It was, I can tell you.
He was 6th because he made it into the Fast Six, but binned in qualifying.
6th. Yeah, correct. You're right. There you go. Nailed it for now. Loser of the weekend. Unfortunately, we're sticking in teams, I have to say at this stage. So we went winners and losers, Newgarden and McLaughlin. Winner Grosjean, loser Colton Herta. Again, another weekend where he looked so strong. Qualifying, just Newgarden was the only one who could get close, but he was on one of those other ones where he had just was on a different level. And, you know, he won last year at Long Beach to round off the season. And he should have walked away with a podium. Realistically, he had the pace to win, but even if he wasn't going to win the race, he had easy pace to be on the podium. And it could have been an Andretti 2-3, or he might have even managed to kind of work his way up to first place. We don't know how that would have kind of worked out at the end. But as he was pushing to come in on that in-lap for the last pit stop, he binned it. A mistake from Colton again. He will keep learning. He will keep making mistakes. You know, this is only his, third full-time season within the series? Second with Andretti, I believe. So, no, it would be fourth, actually. He's had 3 seasons with Andretti now. So, yeah. He's got to iron out these mistakes if he's going to mount a serious title challenge, because you look at Palou, you look at Newgarden, who are the main contenders, and they just capitalise and don't make the performance. I know obviously Newgarden had a P16 to start off the season, but that wasn't an unforced error. The package just wasn't there this weekend. Colton Herta had a package capable of winning the race, and he ended up not finishing that race.
Yeah. Yeah. Again.
Indeed.
There we go.
A last winner from the weekend. I think it has to be a guy I put in again, is Carl Kirkwood. I
was thinking the exact same.
Getting a top 10 result. Rookie again for AJ Foyt. There's a lot of hype around Carl Kirkwood. And I think he continues to prove each race weekend so far that is justified.
In an AJ Foyt car, the consistency he's bringing is probably better than what Bourdais was bringing, just looking at the first 3 races. I know he was involved in an accident at
he was
Texas. Definitely. Oh God, it works so well. But yeah, he's looking super strong, and considering he's a rookie, is just nuts. So yeah, definitely a winner in just. He's shown he's not one hit wonder. I think he showed that in Texas, but another strong finish from him.
Yeah, and who gets the honorary prize of the last loser of the weekend?
I feel like I can hand it to a whole team, and it may be harsh on some of them, but I'm going to go Chip Ganassi, just as a general whole. And you look at it and you go, Palou was third and Dixon was sixth, and those results don't seem too bad. But then Ericsson was running podium position until the end, and then
he'll figure it out.
Binned in a wall. And then we got that great panning shot of Ericsson just standing by his car. Like, what have I done?
Yeah, interesting one for Ganassi. And obviously Jimmy Johnson crashed, broke his hand and crashed out at the end as well.
Well, I'm not done.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Of my reasoning.
We need the reasoning.
You then have Dixon, who, he started 16th and finished 6th. Looking at that, it's like, great result. But he did get unlucky because if Colton Herta doesn't carry his car off to the runoff area perfectly, and for the bit of debris just to be far enough away from the racing line that they don't bring out the caution, then Dixon cycles to the front and has a chance for victory. Instead, he's finished outside the top 5. And then Alex Palou looked like he was challenging for the win, got overcut by Josef Newgarden, and they got done by Roman Grosjean off the restart, finishing 3rd. So that's why, as a whole, it could have been so much better for them, and each of them had a bit of that went against them. So that's why, as a whole, I'm putting them as the losers of what we.
It's a harsh loser, but when Chip Ganassi have set such high standards, especially over the past 2 seasons with Dixon and Palou, I guess, and how strong Ericsson had been looking as well in this race and obviously the previous races so far. Palou coming in 3rd and finishing 3rd, on the face of it, you go, it's a good result. But yeah, absolutely, he wasn't challenging for the win at the end. The strategy didn't quite play out, as they would have hoped. He wasn't able to hold off Grosjean like he was able to hold off Newgarden. I know Grosjean had a tyre advantage. And push to pass, go from there. But, Palou still had push to pass to kind of defend a little bit. Go from there. Grosjean just kind of went hell for leather and used it all to get past him. It's a difficult one, but yeah, I think it's a weekend of what could have been.
I look at those 3 drivers and go, all 3 of them had opportunities to win, but it all fell apart in the end.
And I would actually say for Dixon, it was maybe out of his control.
Yes. Although he did race. That
caution probably, if we realistically look at it, the debris that they were very slow to bring out cautions, weren't they?
Yeah.
And realistically, with the debris on track from the Herta incident, a yellow probably should have been thrown from that, which then would have cycled Dixon to the front. And on that basis...
Well, I'm not sure about...
Well, it wouldn't have to the front, but it would have cycled Palou to first and Dixon to a podium position.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure about, is as clear cut of it definitely should have been a caution because the debris was off the racing line with all the marbles. So if a driver's out there anyway, they could pick up a puncture, but they're probably sliding into a wall.
Yeah.
So I think it was far enough from the racing line and Herta had completely driven off to the runoff that the safety crew did need to come onto the track. So I don't think it's a clear cut. It should have been a caution.
Yeah. Okay. A good point. And as I've never marshalled or been at a flag or stewarded a race before, I will defer to the guys who know a hell of a lot more than me. And they didn't think it was a caution. So we'll go with that. But yeah, I think that probably rounds off our winners and losers and thoughts of the race. I thought it was another great instalment of this season. It's another close finish, and it was an exciting finish with, people fighting for the lead in each one of the 3 races so far, which is just what IndyCar consistently delivers. And it's amazing to watch that it can just deliver this package week in, week out. So yeah, I guess we'll round it off with a little look at fantasy. We'll note the top 3 teams who came in the league. So let me get fantasy up for you, Stephen. Stephen, how did your fantasy team go?
Let's not talk about it. I went full on Andretti. I went Herta, Rossi, Grosjean, and the Andretti that should Carl Kirkwood. And it just didn't come. Well, Carl did well and Grosjean did well, but the other 2 not so well. Rossi still had a top
I think you
10,
probably do better than me, because I had Herta, Rosenqvist, Kirkwood, and Power. So
there we go. Well, we probably got about the same.
Yeah. But yes, if we look at the Acura Grand Prix, Motor City Mum 140.5, which I think in a week where a lot of the top dogs fell out is probably good there. Will Power Hour came P2 with 122, and Third Degree Motorsports 114. And we'll have a quick look at their teams.
Love the names.
As we go from there. So Felix Rosenqvist, Josef Newgarden did back the winner there, and backs the winner on the podium.
There we
so
go.
that was a big swing of points there. Marcus Ericsson and Carl Kirkwood. So really only losing out on Marcus Ericsson. Will Power Hour had Will Power, of course, as I'd expect. Graham Rahal, Roman Grosjean, and Carl Kirkwood. And didn't predict any of the podium. And then Third Degree Motorsports was Colton Herta, which I think a lot of people would have had after qualifying, and lost a lot of points there from him crashing out. Roman Grosjean, Alexander Rossi, and Carl Kirkwood. There you go. They had the full Andretti with the Andretti to be.
With the Andretti
but also had Roman Grosjean on the podium. Had a full Andretti podium.
What a cool!
Grosjean Rossi. Managed to get the second from there. But Stephen did actually manage to beat me by 4 points with Team Pato. But it was a positive because Stephen did remember to select his team this week. So
I know it's 2 weeks in a row I've remembered. It's only the first week. I was so adamant to
I was
avoid
giving everyone
spoilers.
a head start.
I was so adamant to avoid spoilers, I forgot to do fantasy.
Brilliant. Go from there. Just a quick note. Bear with us for videos at the moment. Like I said on the community post, I've just started a new job and we're working out a schedule, but short term, it may be a little bit kind of messy sorting out, but I think long term, it should hopefully benefit the channel in terms of time available, and should get our jobs now align in terms of working hours. So we should kind of get both of us more often, go from there. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and hopefully you enjoyed this race review. Any final thoughts, Stephen? Glory Hunter. Newgarden means business in 2022. But if you're new around here or haven't done so already, and remember the American Monoposto Championship, their league started on Saturday. They are our sponsors for these race reviews. Get in those descriptions, click on the links to their, relevant social medias and channel, and make sure you're following them and supporting them, because it's a fantastic series and we are very pleased to have them as our sponsors. But if you're new around here or haven't done so already, what can they do, Stephen?
They can like, subscribe, and ding that bell.
Ding it! So for now, you Indy fans, keep racing!